Hello, welcome. I'm Sarah from Anagrams Productions, and today we're playing Intertwine, Another Life. It's a visual novel. It is free. I will put a link in the description so you can go play it yourself if you are so inclined. But yeah, let's just get started. Do you believe in soulmates? It's a tough question because in real life, I would say no. In fiction, I do like the idea of it. But I'm gonna go with no. Really? That's surprising. What? No. Don't be offended. Me? Hmm. Maybe if it's you.
Red string of fate, follow it to where you are so far.
So I'm gonna bring down the music volume a little bit, but the voice volume should be good. I do want to make sure y'all can hear the voice acting. There is voice acting. In addition to this like fully voiced title screen song. Which is very beautiful. Very cool. Sometimes I get this feeling like I'm searching for something. Something magnetic. No, that's not it. Warm? No. Something... it's no use. That feeling again. What is that? Van, sweetie, come on. Coming, Mom. I joined her as we headed home for the day. Do you have to call me sweetie so loud? I'm 16. I'm your mother. Can't I show my own son that I love him? You can, it's so embarrassing. Can you show it more quietly? What was that? Nothing. Those grass stains on the back of your shirt. Were you laying on the ground again? Yes. You and your dad. Just the same, you two. Always with your head in the clouds. Here she goes again. What are you even thinking about your age? Don't tell me you're in love. Love? As if. Wow, sounding pretty defensive. Mom, please. People passed by, their silhouettes illuminated by lavender haze as early dusk settled over the town. The busy clamor of the workday faded into a quiet murmur. What is it about this time of day that makes me think so much? Like about that feeling. I'd do anything to know what that was. What I was searching for. Oof. It happened almost too fast for me to process. A bump against my shoulder. An inexplicable tug like a string pulled taut. And a voice, clear and true like a siren's call. Sorry. Who? But they were gone. And before I could register how crazy it was, I was chasing after them. Van! I ran down the street, pulled by an invisible string. Wait, come back! My body was no longer my own. It was possessed by a singular thought. Who was that? And that sensation. What was that? Thoughts swirled in my head, a chaotic jumble of questions only made worse by the growing crowd. Left, right, forward, backward, where was I running? Why was I running? I didn't have the answers. I only hoped that invisible force guiding me would be my compass, steer me in the one direction I needed to go to find them. But with each passing moment, its pull grew weaker and weaker. Where... Van? I turned to see Mom gripping my wrist in bewilderment. What are you doing? That's dangerous. You can't go running off like that. We just moved here. I wouldn't know what to do if you got lost. But that person, where did they go? I didn't even get a chance to see what they look like or get their name. A foreign feeling filled me as I stared into the busy street, a mixture of emptiness, longing, pain. While I'd never experienced it before, if I had to describe it, I'd say it was heartbreak. Jeez, that hurt. So I think now we are playing as the person he bumped into, who I think is the main character. Just want to take a moment to say that I absolutely love the UI. It is so beautiful, so gorgeous. And I love the little touch that I did with like the size of the text representing like the loudness of the voice. So like, you know, normal size text is like normal voice, and then small text is like whispering. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, oh my gosh, I love the UI. Hope that guy's okay though. He probably thinks I'm so rude, ramming into him and running off. Well, no point lingering on it now. I rushed onwards. I was so late for this interview. As I pulled my phone out just to see how late I was, I realized it was nowhere to be found. No way! You've gotta be kidding me! When did I lose it? Did I forget it at home? School? No, I definitely had it on me today, so when... Oof. Sorry. Don't tell me I dropped it then. There was no way I could go back and get it now. I could hardly remember the specific area we ran into each other. And by now, with how busy the city got at this time, it's probably been trampled on or kicked into a gutter somewhere. Great. Just great. I continued running to my interview, cursing my bad luck the entire way. What a hassle. It wasn't enough for me to bomb that interview, I just had to lose my phone too. I pulled out my new replacement phone to set it up. Welcome to your new phone. My name is Alexis, and I will be assisting you with setting everything up. In order for me to best assist you, it'd be helpful to know how to refer to you. This is kind of clever. Clever way to do this. It seems you go by Annie. Is this correct? This can't be changed later. Yes. It's a pleasure to meet you, Annie. What are your pronouns? So it'd be correct to say Annie goes by she or her. Is this right? This can't be changed later. Yes. I love my little icon. Just like... Splendid! I'm almost finished setting everything up for you. The last step will be choosing your avatar. This icon will be used on messaging interfaces. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the little side-eye penguin dude. Perfect. Let's test things out to make sure you're happy with how everything looks. Please type a message to test your icon. Yo, what up. Are you satisfied with this icon? Yes. In that case, everything should be set up. Thank you for your patience. Finally, I flopped into my bed, completely exhausted by today's events. Hopefully, a good night's rest would make me forget about it all. Deja vu. Wait, don't take him away. Annie! That's a cool text effect. I mean, you can still tell what it says, but it's a cool effect. His hand was yanked from mine, and the comforting warmth of his hand was replaced by lonely chill. I rushed to the guards, desperate to keep him by my side. But they shoved me away, and I fell to the rough, cold prison floor. No! The jagged stone ground scraped against me as I ran to the guards again. But I was too slow, and the cell door clanged shut. I pulled on the iron bars, willing them to open, but like the guards, they held no response to my cries. With no other choice, I watched my love get dragged away. He yelled something back, but our growing distance muddled his words. As his silhouette faded into the shadows, a piece of me was stolen with him. So, you can kind of tell this is a free visual novel. I don't mean that in a derogatory way, just in a, like, you can clearly tell, like, these are just filtered stock photos, right? And so it's a little difficult to tell, the passage of time. They're obviously trying to keep the number of assets pretty small. And so that was also just like, obviously just his sprite, but like, a silhouette of his normal sprite. So I wonder what like time period that was. It was almost certainly a flashback to a previous life. It could be a flash forward, but based on the context, I'm assuming is a flashback. So yeah, I'm curious what kind of time period that was supposed to be. Sweat clung to my shirt. Air entered my lungs in short bursts. My chest ached with emptiness. The feeling of loss lingered in my body. That dream again. No matter how many times I had it, I could never shake the grip it had on me. As I slowly came to, my breathing steadied, and my heart rate slowed. I fell back against my pillow. How many times has it been at this point? They started when I lost my phone in high school. I could still vividly remember that day. It was like everything had gone wrong. The interview, my phone, and then to top it all off, that devastating dream. And so again, like this stock photo, this background is the same one we saw just a few seconds ago. And so it's like, what kind of time has passed here? She says that happened when she was in high school, which would make sense because I think Van said he was like 16. I'm assuming they're around the same age. So yeah, like, how many years has it been? Are we talking like, is she in college? Is she in her 20s? Is she in her 30s? 40s? What kind of time has passed that she's still in the same bedroom? I groaned as I tried to fall asleep, to no avail. As it did every time it visited me, memories of the dream tugged at me until morning. I groaned groggily in the cafe. After last night's dream, the remainder of my sleep had been restless, and I found myself in extra need of my morning coffee. Alvarez. The quiet rustle of bedsheets and the morning sun filters through thin curtains. Raku. The loneliness of a shadowy forest in the midst of a thundering storm. Van. The lingering warmth of someone's hand once clutched in mine. Since I was born, I've had a condition doctors called synesthesia. Usually people with this condition perceive multiple senses together, like seeing colors when they listen to music. Mine seems to be a particularly rare form where I feel names. Oh, I see. So those were her describing what she was feeling as she heard the names. It's really interesting. Some names are soft and gentle, while others are harsh and demanding. When I was younger, it was distracting, but as I've grown older, I've gotten used to the sensations. Annie? Oh. I wonder what my character feels when they hear their own name. I noticed there was no description there. After hearing my name, I went to retrieve my order. But as I reached for my coffee, someone else's hand almost ran into mine.
Sorry.
There's the voice acting. No, that was my bad. I wasn't looking where I was going. My drinks just... I tried to grab my order, but our hands kept threatening to collide as we fumbled for our drinks. Sorry, Mine's...
You go first.
Thanks. Now that the threat of either of us running into each other was gone, we easily retrieved our drinks.
How many people does it take to pick up a single coffee?
Normally, I'd say one, but it seems today I stand corrected.
Maybe I'm an exception then. And have a good day.
You too. I walked towards the cafe exit, but a familiar face popped into view once again.
Here, I got it.
He held the door open. I murmured my thanks and walked into the morning streets. The bookstore is having a sale today. I should still have time to drop by before work. There were a couple of books I had wanted to pick up. Nasher's birthday was coming up. He really likes photography books, but I don't even know which ones are good. Or maybe an art book. Didn't he mention that recent Studio Ghibli movie he liked? I noticed the man from the cafe walking nearby. Again. He's not following me, is he? As our eyes met, he glanced away, as if unsure, before walking faster. I slowed my own pace, relieved at the growing distance between us. He seemed spooked too. Looks like he's not following me. I guess it was just a coincidence. But as I continued towards the bookstore, I realized it now seemed like I was the one following him. With each turn onto a different street, my footsteps mirrored his, and inevitably, his uncertainty turned into outright wariness. Jeez. With one last turn onto a different street, he stopped and waited for me to catch up. Listen, I'm not following you. I ended up blurting that out. Hopefully that doesn't make me look more suspicious. So this isn't... You're not a fan? Fan? Why would I be a fan? Never mind. If you aren't following me, then why haven't I been able to shake you for the past 10 blocks? I'm trying to catch this book sale before work today. At the bookstore on 16th and Central? Yes, there. That's a coincidence. I was heading there too. Oh, I guess that explains why we haven't been able to shake each other. Either that or fate. Hint, hint. Both of us seem to relax at this revelation. Then, should we walk together? Instead of one of us trailing behind the other? I don't know. The latter sounds awfully tempting. Didn't get your fix after the past 10 blocks? Well, I've come this far. Might as well commit, right? He laughed and turned as we headed to the bookstore together. By the way, got a name I can call you? You didn't happen to pick it up at the coffee shop? Can't say I did. What a shame. Next time I'll pay better attention to the names they call out. I'm glad you learned your lesson. It's Annie, by the way. Nice. Name's Van. So, what are you trying to pick up at the sale? Just a couple photography books. Usually they're expensive, but this is one of the few occasions where they get discounted. Photography. Is it a hobby of yours, or do you just like the books? You could say it's a hobby, but I like the books as inspiration for my own works. Wow, works. Sounds like you take your hobby seriously. Just a little. And you? What are you eyeing for the sale? Actually, funny you should ask. I'm in the market for some photography book recommendations. It's for a friend of mine. Another coincidence. Lucky you ran into me then. As we entered the bookstore, the smell of pressed paper and dried ink surrounded us. Come on, I can show you my favorites. Van led us to the photography section and scanned the shelves before expertly picking out a few choice selections. Is this friend of yours into books for the pictures or tips? I think pictures? Got it. Let's see. Van sifted through the bunch and laid 3 medium-sized books on the table. One showed a black and white still of a woman, another a blooming flower field, and last one a looming skyscraper over a busy street. If we're talking pure aesthetics, these are some of the most underrated in my opinion. I peered at the image of blossoming wildflowers decorating a vast field, framed by a towering mountaintop. A simple, one-worded title and geometric text read keyframes. This one's pretty. As I flipped through the book, dreamy landscapes depicting majestic mountain ranges, serene starry night sky, and bubbling creeks called out to me. Van nodded as he observed me. A lot of people like landscapes. Makes sense. Appreciation for nature, the idea that you can see the picture in real life, all that jazz. Yeah, I'd love to visit any of these places. Especially this one. I pointed to a picture of a mountain range, flower field, or riverside. Oh boy, my first choice. I'm gonna say flower field. Why not? Hope you make it out there one day. Ha! In this lifetime? Fat chance. Never say never. I smiled at the thought and continued going through the images. I really like this book. He seems to know what he's talking about. So, have you always been a photography book connoisseur, or did that come after picking up photography? After. When I first got into photography, I just took pictures of whatever I liked. Now I try to be more thoughtful about how I approach my process. It's not just about what I'm capturing, but also how I'm capturing it. What do you mean, how? Well, anyone can take a picture, but everyone's approach differs. The way they capture composition, lighting, colors, even their choice of subjects. My style may not be the same, but I take inspiration from all types of photos. Editorial, landscape, still life. I tried to study the elements he had just discussed on the book's cover. So the subject of this picture is the flower field. And the composition, Van chuckled before leaning over me. A faint, earthy smell of pine followed him. Landscape pictures are unique compared to editorial or still life pictures. Let me show you. He pointed to the woman in the editorial photo as he illustrated his points. Our fingers brushed against each other. Van jolted back, causing the book to slip from my hands and fall to the floor. Oh, sorry. It's alright. He got really shocked from just a light touch. After returning the book to me and regaining his composure, Van cleared his throat and pointed to the two books. This time he seemed more careful about any accidental physical contact. See how in this photo there's just one woman and a blank background? Yeah. But in the landscape picture, the flower field is framed against the sky, clouds, and mountains. Yeah, there's more going on. Exactly. That kind of background wouldn't work in this image of the woman, right? Or it wouldn't have the same effect. So that choice is what you try to study? Right. So, even if you don't take the same type of pictures, analyzing a thought process can still inspire you. Looks like he puts a lot of thought into his art. Yeah, this feels very familiar. Like, I feel like any artist, any creator could relate to this, right? Like, that's literally what I'm doing right now. I'm playing this game to study how this game was put together and designed, so that I can think about that the next time I'm making a game, right? Because it's the same kind of thing, taking inspiration from other works, right? How long have you been doing this? Photography? I'd say 8 years. But I've been an artist for longer. Oh, what other kinds of art did you do? I started with drawing, but painting was my main medium until I switched to photography. And you haven't looked back since? Haven't gotten the chance to. Well, that was a sudden storm. Shoot. I rushed to the window where the sound of rain pelting the building mixed with rumbling thunder. No. I dragged my hand down my face, cursing the fact I didn't bring an umbrella with me. Everything okay? Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to get to work in this rain. If you don't have an umbrella, I have a poncho you can use. I always carry one because of my camera. You want to borrow it? Oh, Van, I couldn't ask you to do that. You're not asking, I'm offering. So suave. I don't mind. I can always buy another one. But what about you? This thunderstorm. I'll wait it out. Don't worry. I think you need this more than me. He pulled out a foldable poncho and handed it to me. Thank you. The sound of the storm grew louder. Rain came down harder by the second. I'm going to be late at this rate. In that case, I really need to get going. Sorry, Van. It was nice meeting you, though. I turned, upset I couldn't get the books I wanted after all. Oh, wait. His hand grabbed my wrist, lingering there for a moment before releasing me. Sorry, I don't want to make you late, but is it cool if I gave you my number? I know we just met, but... Oh, sure, here. I handed my phone to Van. He smiled as he quickly entered his number before returning it to me. Testing, testing. Lol. Hear you loud and clear. There we go. Nice. Now I'll actually let you go. Wouldn't want you being late for work. Might be too late for that, but it's alright. Well, say sorry to your boss for me. I'm sure she'll appreciate it. Bye, Van. See you later. See you. I hurried from the store. A notification from my phone from who I could only assume was my coworker. I'm coming! I'm coming! As I pulled my phone out, I saw the message was actually from Van. By the way, I can get the book you were looking at. I couldn't make you do that. Lol, I'm offering. Besides, me rambling about photography is why you didn't have time to buy the books in the first place. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, I would never go shopping before work. Like, that just sounds like a recipe for disaster. Why would you even risk it? I would be too, like, deathly afraid of being late. Especially if you have to walk there. Jeez. It's the least I can do. Do you normally buy books for strangers you just met? And give them your poncho? I'm sorry, but this experience is enhanced by this side-eye penguin. Like, not normally. So I'm an exception. You could say that. Fine. I'll take you with one. Then I can return your poncho too. Yeah, I knew that's where it was going. It's like one of the oldest tricks in the book. Like, oh, you can borrow my umbrella or poncho or whatever, and now we have an excuse to meet again. I rushed to work. Arriving a few minutes late, but at least not soaking wet on top of all that. And done. I made the last changes needed to the business proposal and logged off for the day. Jeez, so much work. I haven't been able to catch a break. As I sorted through my messages, I noticed a missed one from Van. Just bought your book. Let me know when you want to pick it up. Actually just finished work if you're free tonight. Good to see you again already. Have you had enough of me for one day? I'd say it's the opposite. I have plans tonight though. So I wouldn't be able to treat you to a full-fledged date. Unless you're willing to wait until late. I'll be at this address if you want to pick it up today. Just let me know. I can swing by. I have time. Plus, it's Friday, so lucky for you, I have a late curfew. Lol. Definitely seems to be my lucky day. See you soon. See you soon. I'm guessing he's at this art show thing. Rows of pictures, highlighted with fluorescent spotlights, hung from a lofty ceiling. My footsteps echoed against the smooth wooden floor as I observed the various collections on display. I slowed to a stall at a set of grayscale images. The crowd on the platform insisted on shoving her in different directions. Each touch was uncomfortable, but purely accidental until it wasn't. She looked at the person who bumped into her. They were already walking away. Do I know you? She reached for him desperately as he finally collapsed onto the floorboards with a weak grunt. The deal is done, he whispered. She sobbed and rushed to close the distance between them. There is a circle of life. So this one was the stranger, this one was tether, this one's circle. From birth to death to decay to feeding the living, there is life beyond the rot that provides energy from new growth. Very, very interesting, very provocative images. Wow. Each image portrayed something different, but there was a clear theme woven into each of the pieces. A sense of fate. A chance encounter. The inevitable turn of time. The devastation of destined tragedy. My chest tightened at the collection. Annie, you made it! I turned to Van, approaching me with an excited grin on his face. Hey Van, you should have mentioned you'd be in an art exhibit. Some people would say this is a perfect date spot. Here? Well, I guess that's true, but considering this is my exhibit, it'd probably be a bit pretentious taking my date here. Your exhibit? Duh. Wait, this entire collection is yours? Van let out a bashful laugh as he rubbed the back of his neck. Yeah. What do you think? It's beautiful. You undersold how much of a photographer you are. I felt a slight heat on my cheeks, remembering our first meeting. I asked him if he did photography as a hobby, and here he is with an entire public exhibit. At my compliment, Van relaxed in relief. His eyes sparkled warmly at me. Glad you like it. Come with me, I have your book. Is it okay to give it to me now? Aren't you busy with the whatever artists do at their own exhibits? It's fine, it won't take long. He led me to the back door of the gallery, and we entered a small studio room.
Just a second. It's right here.
He emptied a satchel onto one of the tables, and the photography book, along with some brushes, an eraser, and a medium-sized canvas, slid out. On the canvas were two figures reaching for one another. It echoed the collection on display in the exhibit. And yet, something about this specific image tugged at me. What's this? Van's eyes followed my gaze to the painting.
Oh, just a piece I've been working on for a while, actually. Remember how I used to draw and paint?
Uh-huh. Then you got into photography.
Right. Well, I've always had this feeling inside of me. It's the whole reason I got into art. It's hard to describe, but it's like I'm being pulled to something, or I'm searching for it. I guess you could call it my purpose. I've been trying to capture it all my life. For a while I thought I could, with photography, but it's never been right.
Is that why this looks similar to the photos outside? You're trying to draw the feeling?
Yeah, basically. I thought if I created it myself with my own two hands, it would stop gnawing at me.
Oh, that's... I wasn't sure if I could relate to Van's dilemma. This feeling of needing to create something, but it never coming out quite right. Dude, I relate to that. I relate to that so hard. The Memoirs remake. It's been 15 years. never comes out right. But it sounded frustrating. Yes, yes it is. Very much so. I'm sorry to hear that. It's a beautiful piece, though.
Thanks. It's driving me crazy. I feel like I'm so close, but it's still missing something.
Do you mind if I see? He nodded and I picked up the canvas. A grayscale painting where two figures seemed to be ripped from one another. It was beautiful with a haunting sense of loss. My chest ached with an eerie emptiness, a longing. Something about it felt familiar. Something about it reminded me of last night's dream.
I know it's a more depressing piece.
No, it's not. I mean, I feel like I've lost something when I look at it, but it's not in a negative way. It just felt familiar is all. Sorry for that awkward silence. Probably not the kind of reaction the artist is looking for.
All good. It's similar to the photographs outside, so it makes sense if it looks familiar.
That, but it also reminds me of a dream I had.
Really? What was it about?
Oh, nothing too profound, just one of those dreams where you're in love with a random stranger. No way am I going to tell him I actually felt heartbroken over it. He's going to think I'm so dramatic. I do see what you mean, though. Something about it is missing something.
Right? Feels like I've thought about everything, but I just don't know what it needs.
He was right. I could tell there were so many rich emotions in the piece. Grief, devastation, heartbreak, and yet it needed more. I thought back to last night's dream, how if I was actually in that position, I would give anything to be reunited with the person ripped from me. How desperately I would cling to the hope that we would be together again. I almost wanted to have a happy ending, like they'll still be together. Maybe not now, but one day. I know that goes against the whole point of the current piece, though. Van searched through his pile of brushes before pulling out one with a thin bristle. With unbelievable focus, he dipped his brush in paint and leaned towards the painting. After a steady breath, he added a pop of color to the canvas with one smooth stroke. He continued adding small details here and there before finally leaning back. I didn't dare utter a word, afraid I'd break his concentration. When he finished, a red string connected the two people. It was a small touch, and yet the piece felt more whole. Tragic that they were inextricably tied but were being separated. And yet, endlessly romantic that the string wasn't broken. Perhaps one day they would meet once again.
Like that?
Yeah.
That was it. It's so simple, but I can't believe I'd never thought to tie them together. Especially with this feeling that I was being pulled to create this. Thank you. Without you...
I barely did anything. I was just thinking out loud.
Still, you helped me complete it. I've been chasing this idea for years, and after one day with you, I'm starting to think fate sent you to be my muse.
Wow. Oh no, not the cheesy artist pickup line. That's pretty much exactly what I was thinking.
It's a no-go, huh?
Try again.
I'll save myself the embarrassment, but thank you. honestly, I've been stuck on this piece for literally my entire life. Anyways, I'll stop boring you with my art nonsense. I have to wrap up the exhibit, but it should be over soon. Then the real date begins.
Sounds good. I explored the rest of the art exhibit with a greater appreciation now that I knew Van was the artist behind the collections. Oh, this one's nice too. Annie, sorry for the wait. It's no problem. I've just been appreciating the pictures. You don't have to lie for my sake. I wasn't. I actually like your art. I never would have been able to enjoy this if it weren't for running into you. I'm glad fate sent me to be your muse. Don't remind me of that corny line. I can't believe I actually said that. Already regretting it. Depends. Did it work? I mean, let's be honest. I hate to admit that I liked it. Wow, so you like that kind of stuff? I'll make sure to keep that in mind. I can't wait to hear all of the artist pickup lines you come up with. Don't know if I'll be able to top the Muse one, but I'll try not to disappoint you. Van offered his arm to me. I took it as he led us from the exhibit. So, did you happen to plan anything for our date tonight amidst all the exhibit chaos? I think you're making the exhibit out to be bigger than it was. But I do have an idea. Tonight there's a meteor shower that I wanted to check out. Wanna come? Oh yes, let's go. Van drove us to a mountain overlook where glimmering stars speckled the midnight blue sky.
Looks like it hasn't started yet. Perfect.
We exited the car. The starry night hung over us. The city spanned below us. Even without the shooting stars, it was a scene to behold. Pretty. My words faded with a yawn.
Are you tired? We can go.
No, it's alright. We just got here. Besides, I want to see the stars. I'm just a little tired. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Had a bad dream.
Really? Must have been something else to make you lose sleep like that.
It's weird. I've actually gotten a couple of times, but every time I wake up just as shaken up. Flashes of the dream, the cold prison walls, the harsh guards, the desperation in my voice resurfaced. And with them, the tightening in my chest returned. The details of the dream are usually hazy, but the last thing I always remember is the heartbreak I feel after. Like I've lost a part of myself. It's weird. I don't even know the other person. I can't remember their name. But for some reason, I can't forget them, the way they make me feel. Sorry, I didn't mean to be a downer. Like I said, it's just this dream I get sometimes. I swear, I'm not usually this dramatic over them.
No, don't worry. That's not it.
He shifted his weight between his feet, as if uncertain.
In fact, it's the opposite. I get it. I get a dream like that too. Had it since I was in high school.
Really? Me too.
You've had this dream since high school too?
Crazy coincidence, huh?
That's one way of putting it. Yeah, I don't tell people about it anymore. Stopped trying after the first couple of crazy stares I got. Not sure how many other details match, but mine always starts in a prison cell. Someone gets yanked away from me. Your standard stuff. I mean, the dream itself is generic enough, but the loss I feel afterwards is unbelievable. It inspired that piece I showed you. The one you helped me finish today.
The painting?
Yep.
You mentioned that feeling being an inspiration for all your works. Does that mean your exhibit today too?
Got a sharp memory, huh? That's right. The dream is the feeling I've been trying to recreate in all my pieces.
Maybe that's why I connected to so many of your pieces. And why I could help you complete the painting. Aren't you lucky I had the same dream right before stumbling into you today?
I told you, didn't I? Fate sent you to be my muse.
You say that to all your dates?
Have to say, this is a first.
I chuckled and shook my head. Still, to think we had the same dream, what are the chances? Wait, don't take him away. Annie! His hand was yanked from mine, and the comforting warmth of his hold was replaced by a lonely chill. By the way, got a name I can call you? You didn't happen to pick it up at the coffee shop? Can't say I did. What a shame. Next time, I'll pay better attention to the names they call out. I'm glad you learned your lesson. It's Annie, by the way. Nice. Name's Van. The lingering warmth of someone's hand once clutched in mine. Do you want to hear another crazy coincidence?
You have more? I'm gonna start thinking you're making them up.
Well, I will say this one's harder to believe. In my dream, one of the last things I remembered was the feeling of someone's hand in my own.
I thought the last thing you remembered was heartbreak.
The last physical thing I remember.
Got it. What about it?
When we met, I got a similar feeling.
You did? What do you mean?
Well, I have synesthesia. When I hear people's names, I also feel physical sensations. Like the tickle whisper against my cheek, things like that. Usually I don't pay too much attention to it. But now that I think about it, the feeling I got when you told me your name was just like the one from my dream. The lingering warmth of someone's hand once clutched in mine. I laughed nervously. Connecting all these dots was starting to make me feel like a conspiracy theorist. It sounds like I'm making it up when I say it out loud, but some coincidence, right?
Coincidence or fate? You ever experienced that sensation before?
That specific one? Not that I can remember, actually.
Do you want to hear my own crazy coincidence?
Oh no, not you too. Oh, the cute little shoujo, little, light background.
I have a condition like yours. When I touch someone for the first time, I get this feeling like deja vu. You know when you meet someone, but they feel so familiar, it's like you knew them in a past life?
Yes.
It's like that. With you, though, it was much more visceral. I felt like I'd found someone I'd been searching for.
So the subject of this picture is the flower field? And the composition, Van chuckled before leaning over me. A faint, earthy smell of pine followed him. Landscape pictures are unique compared to editorial or still life pictures. Let me show you. He pointed to the woman in the editorial photo as he illustrated his points. Our fingers brushed against each other. And he freaked out. Van jolted back, causing the book to slip from my hands and fall to the floor. Oop. Sorry. It's alright. He got really shocked from just a light touch. Is that why he reacted like that? Van rubbed the back of his neck and turned towards the outlook. He let out a rueful laugh.
It sounds like another cheesy pickup line, but I swear it's more than that. In fact, I didn't want to tell you. Thought you'd get creeped out. But I can't help but feel like the universe keeps sending me these signs that I was meant to run into you.
I rushed to the guards, desperate to keep him by my side. But they shoved me away and I fell to the rough, cold prison floor. No. The jagged stone grounds scraped against me as I ran to the guards again. But I was too slow and the cell door clanged shut. I pulled on the iron bars, willing them to open. But like the guards, they held no response to my cries. With no other choice, I watched my love get dragged away. Van! Van. Is he?
Oh, looks like the show started. At 11:11 too. Make the wish of your life.
Van pulled out his camera, shifting his attention to the starry paths being traced in the night sky. I tried to slow my racing heart as I focused on the meteor shower. But I couldn't stop thinking about the dream, about Van. If he's the one from my dream, what does it mean? Is it just chance, or is it something deeper? Coincidence or fate?
Make your wish already?
Oh, not yet.
Better hurry before you miss your chance.
I tried to come up with a wish, but my mind kept returning to last night's dream. The desperation to be with that person again. If Van is the one from my dream, I wish that one day I'll be able to make it to the flower field from that book earlier today. With Van.
Pretty sure you're not supposed to tell anyone your wish. Otherwise it won't come true.
Oops. Pretend you didn't hear it then.
Hear what?
Perfect. What about you? Did you make a wish?
Sure did. It's a secret though. Can't afford to jinx it.
If Annie is the one from my dream.
I hope the universe always pulls us together.
Do you think I should begin to believe that there is some truth to resurrection? Did we in our previous life woo one another? Or is this just deja vu? Kieran, Prasad. What about reincarnation? That's something you think is real? Again, in fiction, I love the idea. In real life? No. I know where the story is trying to go. But I'm gonna say no just to be a contrarian. Huh. Interesting. What do I think? To be honest, it's not really something I cared about until recently. But lately, I've been thinking. I hope it is. Aww. Will you follow the string into the next life?
Red string of fate.
Oh, that's clever. That's clever.
So far.
It's only 8:30. Let's do it. Like that? Yeah. That was it. It's so simple, but I can't believe I'd never thought to tie them together. Especially with this feeling that I was being pulled to create this. Thank you, Annie. Without you, I barely did anything. I was just thinking out loud. Still, you helped me complete it. I've been chasing this idea for years, and after one day with you, I'm starting to think fate sent you to be my muse. Oh no, not the cheesy artist pickup line. It's a no-go, huh? Try again. I'll save myself the embarrassment, but thank you, honestly. That dream again. His velvet voice, the soft warmth in his eyes, that gentle touch. This mysterious stranger sometimes visited me in my dreams. Our interactions were so vivid, it was like they actually happened. So, again, we've got this same stock photo from before, but like, how much time has passed? Every time I was left with this desire to reach out to him, to grab hold of him and never let go, afraid I'd never see him again if I didn't. But every time I tried, I was only met with a dissipating haze, like a beautiful curse I was destined to relive over and over. I burrowed my face into my pillow, as if that would rub away the melancholy settling over me, and tried to fall back asleep. But the lingering effects of the dream made it impossible. What time is it? With heavy, sleep-deprived eyelids, I blinked groggily at my clock. 1:11 a.m. I shook my head and groaned, hiding away once again under my blanket. Hopefully I'm not too tired at work tomorrow. As I closed my eyes, I sighed. Would my dream stranger visit me again when I fell asleep? Did I have the heart to let him sweep me away, just for him to vanish as soon as the morning sun came? Why can't he be real? Please give him a warm welcome to the team. Out of all the candidates, he was the best by a mile. I'm trusting you to show him the ropes. Okay, what was his name again? Van. The tickle of someone else's fingertips brushing against mine. Got it. I'll check in with you later. I have a good feeling about the two of you. The new guy, huh? Well, let's see what he's made of. Hope he's as good as everyone's making him out to be. Come in. Hey, you Annie? That voice. I jerked towards the door. I'd recognize that voice anywhere, but never would I have imagined to hear it outside of my dreams. Red string. Wait, don't take him away. Annie! Van! His hand was yanked from mine, and the comforting warmth of his hold was replaced by a lonely chill. I rushed to the guards, desperate to keep him by my side. But they shoved me away, and I fell to the rough, cold prison floor. No! The jagged stone ground scraped against me as I ran to the guards again. But I was too slow, and the cell door clanged shut. I pulled on the iron bars, willing them to open. But like the guards, they held no response to my cries. Sorry, this is like the third time I'm reading this. Technically the fourth time. With no other choice, I watched my love get dragged away. Van! But this time we know what the name is. It's not being blurred out. He yelled something back, but our growing distance muddled his words. As his silhouette faded into the shadows, a piece of me was stolen with him. Sweat clung to my shirt. Air entered my lungs in short bursts. My chest ached with emptiness. The feeling of loss lingered in my body. What? As I slowly came to, my breathing steadied and my heart rate slowed. I fell back against my pillow. That dream again. And why is it always about him of all people? I tried to fall asleep, to no avail. Memories of the dream tugged at me until morning. Why do you look worse than usual today? Great, just what I needed. Waiting by my office door was Van himself, as if he knew that was exactly what would worsen my mood. Literally shove it, Van. Oh, wow. More aggravating, too. Impressive. For your information, this is your fault. My fault? Yes, because evidently it's not enough for you to make my life miserable here. You have to haunt me in my sleep, too. You dreamt about me? It was a nightmare. Don't flatter yourself. So if you hate me a little more than usual today, you only have yourself to blame. Pfft, it's not my fault you think about me so much that you dream about me. Just shut up. I'm not in the mood today. Van only whistled before disappearing into his office, which somehow annoyed me even more than if he had said anything. Ugh, whatever. I entered my own office and started sorting through the mountain of emails awaiting me. But after our conversation, I only felt more hung up on last night's dream. Why am I still thinking about that? Who's texting me? Hey, what do you want? I'm sorry, this is still made so much better by my little side-eye penguin. The proposal we have coming up. Did you make those edits yet? I'll get to it. Chill out. You sure? Your calendar says otherwise. Don't snoop around my calendar. How many times have I told you not to do that? I wouldn't do it if you didn't book it up like an idiot. I know how to do my job, Van. Get off my back. Jesus, you still crabby from your dream or what? Nightmare. And you're just being annoying. I don't need you to micromanage me. I'm not micromanage. You know what? Never mind. Not even worth it. Just do it. I don't want to have to keep waiting on you. My phone finally went silent, and I took a deep breath to regain my composure. I was wondering if the phone would come up again, because it basically only came up in like 2 scenes. There was like the setup screen, which, you know, was a clever way to get information about the user. In a way that was kind of integrated into the gameplay, but then it only came up in like one little scene, so I was like, surely that's gonna come up again, right? There he goes again, harping on me like usual. What is his problem? Does he ever not have a stick up his... Okay, breathe. Don't let him get you worked up again. I remember the day we first met, when I thought I had literally met the man of my dreams. What a joke. I thought he would be sweet, charming, but this Van was aggravating, grumpy, a hard ass. The list went on. But our boss said we made a good team. And no matter how much Van and I disagreed with that, here we were 2 years later, still working on projects together. I can relate to that. That client proposal is due at the end of this week. As much as I hated to admit it, Van was waiting on me to finish the remaining pieces. But with everything else on my plate, I hadn't gotten a chance to get to it. And last night's nightmare was not doing any favors for my productivity. I hate when I get those nightmares. The fact I dreamt so desperately about Van and them was bad enough, but the day after, how am I supposed to act around him, especially with this gnawing feeling, this unease that ate away at me, as if something was about to go wrong and there was nothing I could do to stop it. Ugh. Maybe I should ask him to help? No. He never let me live it down. I can do it. I just need to rearrange my schedule. Van didn't message me for the rest of the day. While I was able to make some progress on the client proposal, it wasn't finished like I had hoped. You have got to be kidding me. As if this excruciating day couldn't get any worse, it was now pouring rain. and I didn't bring my umbrella. I can't believe this. Of all the godforsaken things that could happen, this is just...
Talking to yourself now? You finally lose it?
The man was smirking at me with the biggest shit-eating grin on his face. I scowled at his less than appreciated appearance. You have eyes. Do you see my umbrella? I'm sure even you can figure out why I'm mad.
Dream me didn't remind you to bring it this morning?
No, Nightmare you was too busy tormenting me. Surprisingly, he didn't respond. Instead, he tilted his head as if contemplating something. What, no scathing remark about how dumb I am for forgetting my umbrella?
Too easy.
Then what? Don't tell me you have an extra poncho lying around.
Of course not. Jeez, you're unbearable today. The rain isn't supposed to let up at all tonight.
Great. Thanks for this amazing news. I really appreciate it. In that case, pray don't get sick and ditch you on that big project coming up. Van stared at me with some mixture of pity, disgust, and frustration. Don't look at me like...
Here, get under.
Van held his umbrella out, and I blinked, dumbfounded. Surely I heard him wrong.
Don't make me repeat myself.
You'd let me walk with you?
Did I stutter? Listen, the only thing dumber than someone who forgot their umbrella before a huge thunderstorm is someone who gave themselves more work to do because they let that idiot get sick.
I did not want to get under his umbrella. So bad. But I wanted to walk through the storm without one even less. Fine. Don't make this weird.
Right back at you.
He lifted his umbrella over both of us. There wasn't much room underneath, but it was better than the alternative. I awkwardly shuffled next to him, the closest we had ever been since we'd known each other. He smelled annoyingly good, like warm, earthy pine.
You good?
Well, I guess we'll find out when we start walking, won't we? He made a point to roll his eyes before we ventured into the rain. Water immediately soaked through my sleeve, and I shifted closer to Van. He seemed to stiffen, but aside from that, absent was the snarky response I would have expected from him. Look at that blush. He's not bad to be around when he shuts himself up. The storm's winds picked up, pelting even heavier raindrops against me. Eek. My sides getting soaked. I glanced at his umbrella. He was holding it straight up, but the wind was blowing the rain at an angle. He needs to hold the umbrella this way to block more of the rain. I think if you just...
What?
You need to... Why does it feel so awkward to talk to him right now? Is it because he's being weirdly nice? You...
What are you saying right now?
Let me show you! I grabbed his wrist and angled it against the direction of the wind. There, see? Whoa. His grasp on the handle faltered, and we both fumbled and failed to grip the umbrella tighter. It clattered to the ground, exposing us to the torrent of rain.
Idiot.
And me? You're the one who dropped it. He grabbed the umbrella and then my hand, and we bolted for a nearby awning. Drenched and panting, we caught our breaths as we took a momentary reprieve from the storm.
Nice going.
How was I supposed to know you have butterfingers?
You make it a habit to grab anyone you know?
It would have been faster for me to just show you. You weren't holding the umbrella right. He shot me a piercing glare before turning back to the rain.
Whatever. My place is just one train stop away. If you need to drive there, you can.
I live further than one stop. Sitting for that long in these soaked clothes. Yeah, fine. I won't take long. Thanks.
Yeah.
He held the umbrella out. I walked towards it before he pulled it away, eyeing me warily.
No more sudden moves from you, though.
Then hold it right this time.
Oh my god.
I returned to his side, to that faint smell of pine, and together we hurried to Van's place.
Bathroom's on the left. I'll get you a towel. You can dry your clothes in the dryer. I have something you can wear in the meantime.
Thanks. In all the time we'd known each other, I'd never been to his place. He kept it surprisingly clean. Yeah, not surprising. I think I've only ever been to one coworker's house, and it was like she hosted a party for the whole team. You know, it was like it's not very common, I don't think. I waited awkwardly at the doorway as Van retrieved my towel and spare clothes. Today's been interesting. Van being nice to me was a development I wouldn't have expected even if hell froze over. And for it to happen after my nightmare last night, all of it was too unbelievable to wrap my head around. I'll just shower, and as soon as my clothes are done drying, I'll head out.
Here, this should fit.
Van returned with a fluffy towel, a clean shirt, and some baggy shorts.
But let me know if you need anything else. The dryer's in the closet connected to the bathroom, so just throw your stuff in there.
Yeah, okay, thanks. I cringed at my meek response and hurried to the bathroom. It's weird not being mean to him. I pulled my clinging, wet clothes from my body and turned on the shower. The warm steam was a welcome relief after the cold rain. As I stepped into the shower, I sighed and let my worries melt under the hot water. Inevitably, my thoughts returned to last night's nightmare. I was so heartbroken when Van was taken away. Even now, I could remember the way my chest ached for him. And the way I had grown flustered walking by his side today. No. We are not going to think about that right now. I turned off the water. The heat was obviously getting to my head. As I put his clothes on, the smell of pine surrounded me again. Damn, he's annoying. Why does he smell so good? Fresh from my shower, I stepped into Van's living room, but he was nowhere to be found. Van?
In here. You want anything to drink?
He brought out a bottle of beer for himself. I'll have... just water, thanks. I didn't know you drank.
Well, if I'm gonna be stuck with you for the next hour or so.
Wow. And here I thought we were finally starting to tolerate each other.
Think again.
I rolled my eyes, though I hated to admit I felt more comfortable with our usual banter.
You hungry?
Tummy growl. He turned to start dinner, but not without giving me a good glimpse of his smirk first. Great timing, stomach. But whatever he was making did smell good. While I wouldn't say it aloud, I was grateful for the food. Eventually, our meal was ready, and he served each of us a plate, including a side of his specialty, a shit-eating grin.
Well, eat up.
If you're going to be annoying about it, maybe I won't. He rolled his eyes, pushing my plate closer to me.
I was kidding. Lighten up. Make sure you eat. If you get sick before the big presentation, I'm gonna hunt you down and bring you into the office, nose running and all.
I scoffed, but obliged as I dug in. He's actually a pretty good cook. We ate in uncomfortable silence until Van spoke again.
Hey, that dream you said you had about me,
Nightmare.
what was it about?
What? Why do you care?
I don't know, I was just wondering.
So you can torment me over it?
No, that's not what I... Fuck. Why do you always have to make things so difficult?
When have you ever given me reason to make things easier for you?
Just answer the question, damn.
In my nightmare... What am I supposed to say? It was a nightmare, but it was because I lost him? That makes me sound like I'm in love with him. He'd hold that over me for as long as I live. It's embarrassing. Why do I have to tell you?
Because I asked?
What kind of reason is that?
What's the big deal? Just tell me.
Easy for you to say. You can just listen and then make fun of me.
I won't make fun of you.
Why should I believe you?
Because I said so.
Yeah, right. Why do you want to know so bad?
I don't have to explain myself to you.
You do if you want to know what my nightmare was about.
I...
He clenched his jaw. When I refused to answer, he scoffed and rolled his eyes.
I'll tell you. After you tell me about your nightmare. Promise?
His interest was suspicious. Too high to be due to his usual jackassery. I decided to tell him out of pure curiosity. Fine. Alright, in my nightmare, I was in some old prison cell, like those musty stone ones from cheesy historical period films. And you were being taken away from me by these guards. I don't know why. I kept trying to stop them, but it was useless. When I woke up, it was like the dream had actually happened. My chest hurt. I felt like I had lost someone important to me. I grew quiet, remembering the heartache, before realizing Van was still listening to my story. I mean, it was a lot scarier than I'm making it sound right now. Like I got all scraped up from the stone, and there was this loud clanging, and it was cold. You know what? Never mind. It sounds stupid now that I say it out loud. It was just bothering me all day since the dream felt so real. It was about you, of all people. So, there you have it. My cheeks burned at having to share such an embarrassingly intimate dream with him. And his silence was not helping. He's probably trying to decide which of his many annoying comebacks to make right now.
Have you ever heard about the red string of fate?
Yes. The idea that soulmates are bound by a red string, right?
Yeah, that one.
Okay, what about it?
Nothing?
Nothing? Does it have to do with my nightmare? You think we're soulmates or something?
No?
That blush says yes.
As if you would be my soulmate.
Are you saying you believe in soulmates?
Don't be ridiculous.
You're acting weird. Like, weirder than usual. Are you drunk?
Ugh, please.
Well, you still didn't tell me why you wanted to know about my nightmare. Is it connected to this red string thing, or...
I don't want to tell you.
What? I need to tell you about my nightmare.
You're gonna be an ass about it.
No, I won't. Promise?
Ugh, fine! That dream you had about me?
Nightmare.
Shut up! I saw something similar when you wrestled me today.
Huh? What do you mean you saw something? Are you making fun of me?
When I touch someone for the first time, I get these visions, like deja vu, but stronger. It doesn't happen a lot. It's not like I meet people from my past lives often. But it does. And I know it sounds crazy, so don't even bother saying anything right now, or you will piss me off. I swear to God. But that dream you had about me? I saw the same thing when you manhandled me earlier. And just like you, I've never experienced anything that strong before. The vision was so clear, and afterwards I felt... Anyways, I remembered the red thread, and I thought, what if, in another life, we were separated, and 2 years ago, we finally found each other again? I mean, it's stupid. You're right. Just forget I said anything.
I didn't say it was stupid.
So you think we're soulmates?
I definitely didn't say that. But I do think it's weird we both saw the same thing. Okay, let's just hypothetically, if we rolled with this idea just for a second. You're saying in a past life that we were together, but we got separated for some reason. And after all these years, we found each other again. Because we're soulmates, tied together by the red string of fate. That's why I had that dream, and you had that vision.
When you say it like that, it sounds corny.
That's how you said it. You know, if you want me to be your soulmate, you are not selling it well.
I don't want you to be my soulmate. I didn't even believe in them or think about them until now. Never mind. This was dumb. I shouldn't have even brought you up. We're probably just tired from work. And we spent so much goddamn time together. Now we're getting the same weird stress dream. Just forget it.
I wanted to forget. Oh, he didn't even know how badly I wanted to. But I couldn't. The dreams, this invisible connection to him, it pulled at me.
But now...
I have synesthesia. When I hear people's names, I get this physical sensation. Sometimes it's really subtle, like sinking into a pillow after a long day. Other times it's a bit stronger. When you first told me your name, it felt like that short moment after you've held someone's hand and you can still feel the warmth of their hand on your palm. Or like when someone's hand has been ripped from yours in a prison cell.
Now you're making shit up.
I'm not making it up.
If you want to be my soulmate so bad, just ask me out like a normal person.
Shit-eating grin. You're the one who brought up the idea of soulmates first. Van tapped his finger against the table, something he did whenever he was deep in thought.
You're being serious right now? About the name thing?
Did I stutter?
Damn. This is so fucking weird. When do coincidences become fate?
I was starting to feel tired from all these revelations and glanced at my phone. 2:22 a.m. Oh my god, I need to get home. I jumped from my seat. Van glanced wide-eyed at me and then the clock.
You're leaving?
Well, it's already past 2. We have work tomorrow. You want me to pull an all-nighter with you talking about whether soulmates are real?
But you can't go home now. It's dangerous.
You're saying you want me to stay the night?
I don't want you to stay the night, but it's too late for you to walk home alone.
I don't have clothes for tomorrow.
Just wear what you wore today.
The same outfit?
Who cares? No one will even notice. We're all barely human at work anyways.
Fair points. It is late.
It's fine. You can sleep on the couch.
Wow, no bed for your guest?
Nope. I have just the one, and it's for me. Unless you want to share.
Absolutely not. Hard pass.
Just say please. I'll consider it for my soulmate.
There's that shit-eating grin again. In your dreams.
More like in yours.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Van gestured for me to follow him to the living room. I sat down as he walked to his bedroom. He returned shortly with some blankets and pillows.
Here.
I was buried under a pile of plush throws and cushions. Excuse me.
You're excused.
He dismissively left me, and his bedroom door closed with a reverberating sound of finality. Ugh. He's the worst. Soulmate my ass. She still hasn't finished the appendix edits I told her about. I searched her calendar. I could already hear her yelling at me for it. And her schedule's packed again. Why does she take on so much? It had been a couple of days since the weird soulmate incident, and we hadn't seen much of each other since. Soulmate. What was I thinking? I must have been drunk out of my mind to have said that out loud. But was it really so strange after what I'd seen when we touched? I think they're coming for me soon.
The prison guards were talking about it.
My bad, I didn't realize he was gonna voice that.
I think they're coming for me soon. The prison guards were talking about it.
Already? I couldn't agree more, but I had to stay strong. My punishment was coming now, whether we wanted it to or not. And I wanted to make this as painless as possible, for her sake. Isn't there something we can do? Some way we can... Annie... Yes?
Remember our promise?
I do.
I'll make it happen. No matter what. I swear it.
Then... find me in the next life.
Always.
She reached for me through the bars, and I took hold of her hand. I committed it all to memory, the feel of her skin, the strength of her grip, the warmth of her touch. I'd never forget any of it.
They're coming. But don't forget, okay? No matter what.
Adrenaline coursed through my body. How is it possible to feel even more nervous? I'd never imagined it would be so difficult to keep it cool in my last moments. I thought I'd accepted this a long time ago. Maybe I had, before I met her. Could she feel my hand shaking, hear the quiver in my voice? She was so close, and yet so far away. What I would do to bring her into my arms. But there was no use for those kinds of thoughts. All of that was impossible. And so I prayed to turn the impossible possible. If there's anyone out there, let this be my one request. Let me find her again. My one request. Is that really a past life we shared? There was no way. Every logical bone in my body rejected the possibility. So then, why couldn't I stop thinking about her? Still, to call her my soulmate out loud like that, my face heat up from the memory. And now she has me blushing. Unbelievable. And yet, as much as I tried to forget that conversation, I noticed myself being even more distracted by her than usual. Has she eaten? She seems stressed. What meeting does she have now? Endless questions and thoughts brought on by a new hyper-awareness of her. And to make matters worse, not only could I not get her off my mind, I couldn't talk to her the same as before. Which brought me to my current dilemma. When the hell is she gonna finish that appendix? It's due in 2 days. Fuck it, where is she? All these questions were making me fidgety. There was nothing left to do but seek her out and ask her myself. It had been a couple of days since our soulmate talk, but since then, Man and I had interacted very little with each other. The main reason being all of these small projects I had to manage. A mountain of emails here, piles of documents there, endless meetings somewhere else. I had no time to myself. I'm going to lose my mind. What made it even more stressful was the proposal deadline coming up. I still hadn't made the progress I needed to on the documents. Things just keep happening. There's always some fire I need to douse. Sounds like my workday. Sounds so familiar. Oh my gosh. It was like I could feel Van glaring at my back. Annie. Ugh, here it comes. I got up and opened my office door before hurrying back to my desk. I already know what you're going to say. I'm going to work on it today. Van hesitated before stepping into my office. He closed the door behind him. The deadline is coming up. If you need help. I don't need help. I got it. Relax. Stuff just keeps coming up, so I haven't had the time. But I'll do it. I don't need you breathing down my neck. Well, is there anything else I can do to help out? While you work on the edits, that is. No way in hell am I asking for your help. You're not asking. I'm offering. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Jackass. It doesn't have to be big, but however long you were going to spend working on other crap, focus on the proposal instead. I'll take care of whatever you would have worked on. Why? So you can hold it over me? No thanks. So I can stop waiting on you and put my final edits in before the deadline. Fine, whatever. Come here. Van leaned over me, and the new proximity reminded me again of that addicting scent of pine. I pointed him to the different emails I needed to respond to. And make sure to follow up with them on whether those forms got approved. Jeez. Normally people hire secretaries for this much work, you know? Now you know why I've been taking a while. He didn't respond, simply pulling up an extra chair and starting. I turned my attention to my own stack of documents. Let's see. One of the changes we needed to implement was an Appendix C. I tapped my pen against the table, mentally reviewing the last edits for our presentation. And then there's table 5A.
Just emailed about the new meeting time.
His help was meant to give me some breathing room. But all I could think about was how much I needed his help, on how much I was drowning. My vision blurred as hot tears gathered on my lashes. Oh, shit, I don't want to cry in front of him. I stared at the ceiling and tried to discreetly blink away the water, but the subtle movement was enough to catch Van's attention.
You okay?
I couldn't respond. If I did, it would be like breaking a dam. So I covered my eyes, hoping that was enough to hide myself away. I didn't dare peek at him, the expression on his face as I cried. And he didn't say anything, only my occasional sniffles broke the silence. I have expected him to throw one of those usual sharp, piercing remarks he loved to jab me with, but he didn't. Annie, don't. Whatever it is you're going to say, don't. It's just so much. And everyone acts like they're only giving me one small thing, but it piles up and piles up. And by the time I realize how much work there is, it's too late. I don't know how to break it all down to share, and my voice cracked and I swallowed the rest of my sentence. I didn't trust myself to continue without completely breaking down. Van seemed to hesitate before reaching for my hand awkwardly. He held my hand in his, rubbing small circles along my knuckles. It was strangely comforting. My sniffles started to fade. Sometimes I wish I could just leave it all behind, drop completely off the map, and run away.
To where? Some meadow?
Is that a callback to my choice in the first one? Where I chose the flower field and wish to go back there? Or to go there? Yes, actually. I've always wanted to go.
Really? Crazy guess. Well, if you ever take the leap, take me with you.
You would come.
Beats this place. Maybe then I'd pursue my dream of being an artist.
You want to be an artist?
When I was younger, it was all I could think about. But, you know, parents don't approve. You go to college, you get a soul-sucking job like this.
It's never too late.
Sure. But then who will do all your work for you when you're having a good cry?
This is the first time that's happened.
Impressively, it is.
He laughed, and a few strands of his hair fell into his face. He actually looked cute. Did I really just think of that about Van, of all people? My mind drifted back to our recent conversation. Say, do you still think we're soulmates?
I don't know.
It is hard to believe, and you don't seem like the romantic type.
Is that any way to talk to someone helping you?
I'm just stating facts.
Do you think we are?
You didn't even answer.
You go first. I'm still thinking.
Why? Are you gonna steal my answer?
Oh, please. When have I ever done that?
That's true. If there's one thing you can do, it's think for yourself.
Wow, that a compliment?
Don't let it get to your head.
Too late.
I shook my head, trying to hide the smile on my lips. Anyways, Game, why do you test me like this? Why do you test me like this? Well, I have the benefit of being the player, and so I know things the character doesn't. Sure, let's go with it. Oh, thanks game. You give me the choice and then completely ignore it. But whether we are or aren't, I don't think that matters.
Why?
Because being in love, falling in love, it's about the experience. You know, learning about each other, finding new things to fall in love with, supporting someone no matter what, and them doing the same for you. A relationship that's just pure and unselfish. I think soulmates are just a way to confirm that the person you're with will do that. So I guess, even if you are my soulmate, you have to prove it. He laughed again and my heart fluttered. Has his laugh always sounded like that?
I don't know if I believe in soulmates, but...
The shoujo lights.
if they existed, I think the universe would send signs. Signs like the ones they already sent to us. So maybe we're soulmates. Maybe we're not. I don't know, but... I do know that since the day we touched, I can't stop thinking about you.
He's so pretty. Ah.
At first I was just curious, and are you my soulmate, are you not? But it didn't take long for that to change. Soon you were always on my mind. Are you in your office? How are you doing? Fuck. this is embarrassing.
He wasn't the only one that felt that way. The back of my neck, the tips of my ears felt hot. You've been thinking about me? And not in a bad way?
As much as I want to deny it, yes.
Normally I would have retorted with something sharp, but as much as I wanted to deny it, his confession flustered me. In a good way. What happened? Just a couple days ago, we were at each other's throats. So then, what good things have you been thinking about me?
Shut up. I give you a whole speech and you still want more? You always greedy with the people you like?
What? I didn't say I liked you.
Sure, I'm laying my heart out, holding your hand, and you haven't moved a muscle. What is that then?
Maybe I'm just not mean, like you, to people when they're vulnerable.
Like I'll believe that after working with you for this long.
I'm not mean.
Sure.
He smirked, absentmindedly bringing the top of my hand to rest against the cheek. To think this all happened because of a thunderstorm. Man, if we were together in a past life, do you think this is our first time meeting since then?
I wouldn't know. If we have met, I don't remember.
Holding my hand isn't jarring any memories.
What? No, I don't know. That's not how my thing works.
Just kidding. Darn, I guess we'll never know.
Actually, wait.
Van pulled my chair closer to his, keeping his free hand intertwined with mine. He closed the gap between us, staring into my eyes from lowered lashes. What?
Nope. Nothing.
Nah. He fell back in his chair with a grin that showed he enjoyed that tease way too much. It was the same smirk he always wore when he wanted to make my life harder. But this time, I didn't find myself as annoyed by it. You're the worst. Van stared at me for a moment longer before returning his attention to my computer.
Well, hate to cut the party short, but if you don't finish your changes by the end of the day, it's my ass on the line too. So, chop chop.
Yeah. Fine.
Don't sound so disappointed. If you do well, I'll reward you later.
He grabbed my hand and pulled me closer. My chair rolled towards him, and he closed the distance between us. His eyes roamed over my features as he silently communicated the nature of his reward. Shut up! Do you normally reward your coworkers like that?
Have to say, this is a first.
I tried to ignore the rising heat on my cheeks and return to my work. As promised, by the end of the day, I had finished making all the changes. But admittedly, I had been distracted by Van the entire time. Something I never would have imagined thought possible before today. Soulmates, huh? An invisible red thread connects those who are destined to meet, regardless of time, place, or circumstance. The thread may stretch or tangle, but will never break. Chinese proverb. Would you ever want to get married? No. You don't? Any particular reason? Oh, that makes sense. Why am I so curious? No reason. Will you follow the string into the next life?
Red string of fate. Follow it to
Yeah, that's so cute and so clever.
My North Star.
I wonder how deep it goes. I wonder how deep it goes. Like how many variations are there?
Leading us now and always to
I'm not going to play anymore today.
most of our
It has been long enough, but I am curious to play through more, to follow the string into the next live. Very cute. Again, very clever. The way that is implemented. And it kind of gives you, the player, kind of control over like how many of these little vignettes, these little story vignettes do you wanna read, right? Because like I could stop now and be satisfied, right? Like I could have stopped after the first one and been satisfied. Like that was just a cute little story, right? And like I could have stopped after that and have been completely satisfied that like. But this one started to give us just a little bit more information about that initial like prison cell tearing apart, whatever you want to call that. Give us just a little bit more information on that. And so like someone who's like really into this and is really curious about that backstory would continue to play. And I'm sure at some point there's like a true ending or something, like at some point there's gonna be no more left, right? But yeah, I wonder how far it goes. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. It's a beautiful visual novel. I do think they could have benefited from a larger budget. Again, the backgrounds being the same across lives and the sprites being the same across lives makes it a little challenging to understand the passage of time, and like I have no clue how that life we just saw, like where was that on a timeline with the first life? Were they sequential? Were they parallel? Are we actually looking at like multiple universes here? Or was that last one we watched supposed to take place after the first one? I don't know. It's impossible to tell. Unless they just like, flat out say it in the script, because the backgrounds were the same. And so the sense of like the technology and all of that was the same too, right? Like no sense of time. Which, is fine. It's not really the focus. It's just like me personally, I tend to get hung up on that kind of thing, apparently. It just might help it to feel a little more grounded if there was a clearer sense of time, but it's just a pet peeve. And again, I totally understand from like a budget standpoint, it's a free game. There's only so much you could do. Even a commercial game, there's only so much you can do, right? You always have a limited budget and you gotta do what you can with that limited budget. And, you know, more of their focus was on the voice acting, the title screen music, the CGs. Okay. So I guess maybe we're just missing 2 CGs, so maybe there aren't too many more lives. Maybe just 1 or 2 more. Maybe just 1 more based on the, like there's 2 CGs from the first one and then 2 CGs from the second one, so maybe the last 2 are from the third one. That's my guess, but I'm gonna leave it there. So if you are interested in seeing the third one, the third life, I would suggest playing the game yourself. Because, yeah, it was really fun. Alright, well, thank you everyone. I'll see you next week.